Today on the Tim Marner podcast show, we've got our Drew from Droodle. What a fucking great name,
Thanks, man.
isn't it? Where did it come from, that, Droodle?
Droodle came from an old job, a colleague. It was a nickname. The only person that's ever called me Droodle, he called me Droodle. Shout out to Joel, head of marketing at Black Star Amps. So
Black Star Amp. So let's talk about the music
Yeah.
first. That's your sort of heart and soul, is it not?
Yeah, man. What, as in my music career, or
Yeah,
as
let's
in
do
my
the-
career within music?
Yeah, let's do a little bit of both then. So
Little
let's
bit of
start
both.
off with how it started off for you.
Me, the musician.
Yeah.
My dad bought a guitar from Argos when I was 14, turning 15. He'd played since he was a teenager. Not to any great standard, just decided he wanted to pick it up. He bought an Encore Ovation copy from Argos, and I picked it up at 14, 15. And that was it, man. Just as you do as a teenager, thinking, I'm going to have a crack at this. I'm left-handed, but picked up a right-handed guitar and went with it. Thankfully I did, because the world's a lot easier for right-handed guitar players.
Yeah.
And that was that. That was the beginning of my guitar journey. Just sort of locked myself away, as you do at 15, with all that sort of pent-up aggression, and put it all into the guitar, and come out a year later. Nobody saw me for a year, and I could play guitar, and it was like, right.
What were you playing? What was your
Oasis, man.
Yeah.
Oasis, Britpop, that era. Sort of 94 was when Definitely Maybe come out. Blur. What was their relative album at that time?
Can't remember.
Part Life.
Part Life.
Yeah. I was very much in the Oasis camp, but it was that I want to be a rock and roll star, mate. So yeah, that was the journey, and then a couple of years later, went to college, which is this ties into the Droodle story. So I hadn't been in a band before. Some lads that were in the year above me wanted to start a band. They knew a mutual friend. Do you know anybody who plays guitar? Yeah, I know somebody who plays guitar. Lad called Drew, me. And I met Klomp at the time, who's Paul. He goes, you only good at guitar? I was like, yeah, I'm fucking brilliant. And that was 97, and we started a band then. And that was the beginning of... a long time has passed between now and then, but he's also a partner in the Droodle business. And that was the first band. So I played our first gig in 97, and sort of haven't looked back since musically, although there's been a lot of sabbaticals in between that month.
So how did you get from being a musician and then getting into working with?
I kind of followed my old man's footsteps in terms of sales. So I got into, I wasn't academic, I wasn't good at school, not unintelligent, just not academic. So, writing and exams was not something I was good at. So I went through school, didn't do great at school, went to college, did well at the practical stuff, did media studies and video techniques, and I enjoyed the making of films and the editing and stuff like that. But it just got to a point, it's like, I just want to get a job, man. So I got a job in Tandy's. Do you remember Tandy's?
Yeah, I remember Tandy's, yeah.
So that was my first sort of sales job in 98. And they were really good at having all sorts of shit that you never knew you wanted, but from a employee point of view, really good at customer care, sales, training. So there was a real professional approach to that. They were bought out by a car phone warehouse again, that professional sales approach with loads of training. So from an early age, I sort of had it sort of trained into me, I guess, the professional sales approach to it. Went through various sales jobs. I was at car phone warehouse for a few years. Then I sold mobile phones to businesses. Then I moved into IT networking equipment. Didn't enjoy that. Crashed my car, wrote it off. That was the end of that. And then got into commercial catering equipment, which was a random one, selling a rental proposition of fridges and ovens to jails and restaurants and schools, and that was as an interesting...
We do music alongside it. We still
still playing music alongside it and stuff. But anyway, long story short, got made redundant from the commercial catering equipment, needed a job, ended up selling cars, hated it, although I have total petrol head and a massive passion, but selling Vauxhall
It's a bit
Corsas
different, that.
was not quite the passion, shall we say. And then through various, because I wanted out from that, through various agencies, employment agencies, one phoned me up because they know I was into music, said there's a job at Roland. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that's a bit of me. And applied for the job at Roland. For those that don't know, Roland are famous for synths and guitar pedals and electronic drums, and all of the dance music you've ever heard ever has got a Roland drum kick on it, pretty much. So pretty famous, cool company. So I got a job for them. Did my 3 years hard labour at Roland. It's a very corporate Japanese company, but it was like doing a degree in the music industry. And then moved to Blackstar Amps, basically. You ever heard of Blackstar Amps? No. Heard of Marshall Amps?
Yeah.
So Blackstar was born out of 6 guys, 3 sort of the original guys and then 3 other guys left Marshall because they weren't allowed to make the products that they want, and created Blackstar Amps, and sort of they're, at the time, the only guitar amp brand that has sort of come on the scene and broke through, basically, and are now in the top 3-5 amp brands in the world. So they come on the radar. I was at Roland. I tried the gear. I love the gear. Shall I go deep into this?
Yeah.
And then there's a really, it's not there anymore, sadly. There's a lot of music shops that aren't there anymore, sadly.
Yeah.
Really, really cool shop in London called Chandler Guitars that was sort of shop to the sort of stars, the cool rock and roll stars, if you like. They'd started stocking Blackstar. I bumped into Keith Dudley, sadly no longer with us, but lovely, lovely guy. He was the international sales manager at Blackstar. They had the new 5-watt valve amp, a HT5R, that revolutionised the world of valve amps, basically, at that time. Tried it, loved it, couldn't believe how cheap it was, or inexpensive, I should say. And just my parting word to him was, I could sell loads of these for you, mate. And he gave me his card, and I spent 9 months phoning him up saying, give me a job. He said, we haven't got a job. I said, well, I want one. Give me a job. After fucking 9 months, I met them out at NAMM. NAMM is out in LA. It's like the big music show that goes on once a year. Snuck off the Roland booth, went and met them in their hotel room because they were still small and didn't have a booth at that stage. Met with them then a couple of meetings later, and ultimately they gave me a job, and I was there for 9 years. Loved it. Great, really cool company. So that was that. And yeah, where from there? Then I had a change of personal circumstances that sort of forced my hand to split with.
Do you want to talk about that or not talk about that?
I'll dip into it. Yeah, I split with my partner, the mother of my child, Lily, who's my world, and moved out of our home, lived with my parents for a period of time, and ultimately needed to provide more for me to move on and to support them, and then jump from Blackstar to Sound Service, where I am today, selling ESP guitars, which are sort of the world's #1 metal brand. So very chuggy, widdly, but very, very cool. I think Metallica, Mastodon, bands like that, Slayer, all use ESP guitars, and that's where I've been for 6 years. So that's sort of my music career, if you like.
So where did the Droodle thing come in then? Where was that?
Where did Droodle come in? So again, I'm ambitious and I wanted more. So prior to Droodle, I started another business, or we started another business, Paul and I, which was a prize competition site called the Gear Giveaway. Sort of working within the industry, I'd seen a couple of these sites come up where there's a nice guitar and you buy tickets and you can win a prize. So we wanted to do that, but with a charity angle. So we had a good couple of years at that. Couldn't get it to work on a sort of commercial level where it was making any money, but we did quite successfully work it with the charity angle. So we've raised £25,000 for a variety of charities over that period of time, working with Tim Burgess on a number of things, which was really cool. Working with some leading retailers in the UK, music retailers. We've raised money for Teenage Cancer Trust, Silver Lining Brain Injury Charity, which is one that's close to me, due to a personal circumstance. We may go into that in a bit. Christie Foundation up here. So a variety of charities, but ultimately the game was to try and earn some extra money, because Paul and I are both sort of single dads trying to support for our kids, and it was just like, it got to a point where we couldn't make it work, and then I explored various avenues of what's the next thing I can do, and looking at Amazon retail arbitrage, selling stuff on eBay, all sorts of stuff, and just went deep into YouTube of how can I make money on the side, basically. What's my next side hustle? And it was bizarre. I was in the random one. I was in the shower one day. Lily was downstairs playing. I was in the shower. Come down and go, I've got the name. She goes, what is it, Daddy? It's like, we're calling it Droodle. It's like, why? I thought, I don't know. but we're calling it Droodle. That was prior to the fashion thing or anything like that. It's like, whatever this business is, it's going to be called Droodle. So,
why was that?
I don't know, man.
Did you have some sort of download where it, like, something told you that that's what it's going to be?
So alongside this, we touched on this when we had our consultation a couple of months ago now. The lots of soul searching going on. So I'm talking about the practicality of, I want to start a business, maybe not the why and how of what I wanted to achieve or so on and so forth. So we did touch on this in our consultation, and it was a lot of soul searching, a lot of, looking at not only what business can I do, but how can I tap into the universe, laws of attraction, and there was one key point. I'm sort of going off on a tangent here, but it's all relative. And I revisited it. It was a podcast. There was something I listened to in a podcast, and I was led on the sofa. I wouldn't say meditate. I just led with my eyes shut on the sofa in the lounge, listening to this podcast, and it's a real deep podcast. Podcast called the Sean Ryan podcast. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, I think I have actually. Is he SAS?
He's American. He's ex sort of special
Navy
forces,
SEALs
Delta Force,
right,
ex CIA operative, but he's sort of truth seeker. Gets some really, really interesting people on it, and I got into this podcast, and I listened to this podcast with a dude called Billy Carson.
Is he SAS?
No, he's I don't quite know what his background is, but he's into alternative histories and consciousness and beings and aliens and all the mad shit, which intrigues me. I'm into all that sort of stuff. So I'd recommend listening to that podcast, the Billy Carson, Sean Ryan episode. 40 minutes from the end, that's the bit where I was led on the sofa in a sort of meditative state, and it's just like the stuff that he was saying there about consciousness and how we're all connected, laws of attraction and all that. So it just sort of piqued my interest, and about vibrations and frequencies, and at that point I'm in sort of a positive state of mind, and that sort of carried on, and through that's when I sort of got to the point of creating Droodle, basically. I don't know.
Yeah, just like, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, you've got to a certain point in your life, obviously something's happened, and then you've thought to yourself, there's something more than this, surely. And obviously that podcast has found you at that right time. Yeah. And then you've had this download to say it's going to be Droodle. Yeah. No matter what it is, and then all of a sudden it's about actual doodles, and you just got to go with it.
Yeah, wasn't it? Yeah, and just sort of went with that, and then explored the possible of how can. Then came onto the idea of a fashion brand, and how can I make a fashion brand without investing loads of money, because I didn't have loads of money. Yeah. And found print on demand and ways of setting up a business the same weekend that I said to Lily, in fact, the same day, the afternoon that I said our business is going to be called Droodle, I bought the domain droodle.co.uk. It's like, right, that's it, I'm fucking doing it. So I didn't even know at that point. I was thinking about fucking chopping boards because I'm mad into cooking, and knives and cooking related things, but then somehow found through, I don't know, these things sometimes present themselves to us without us realising. Is that higher, going back to that podcast, the higher self, there's us, and then there's the voice in your head. Are you mad for thinking that's the voice in your head, or is that you telling you what you really should be doing? I don't know. I don't have the answers on that stuff.
I think it's all right not to have the answers and just let it be.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of that throughout the year of sort of having the idea and going with the flow and listening to it, and then the opportunities present themselves. Well, that could work, and that could work, and how am I going to do that, and so on and so forth.
Trusting the process.
Yeah, and it's sort of another point where I was like, I've been telling my family and stuff that I'm tapping into the universe, and the universe is going to give me the answers, and I'm going to figure it out, and they've all gone fucking nuts. I was like, well, I'm going with it anyway. And there was another point of, I'd decided on the fashion brand, and I needed a direction of how are we going to present ourselves, what's our angle, what's our vibe. I've since tweaked that, since a very thought-provoking chat with your good self, sir, hence I'm saying now. Which was, I was led, it was like I knew I needed to find a direction of what we wanted to be. And I was literally led, I went to my parents, I led in the conservatory, and sun was shining on me, and they were in the other room, and they knew I was trying to figure out what's the angle, what we're going to do. And it just sort of popped into me of like pop art. Colourful, vibrant pop art designs. That was the thought at that point. I had another download. Right. But interestingly, sort of tapping into that consciousness, unbeknown to me at exactly the same time that I have this download, my mum and my sister and Lily and my sister's carer were going through, because my sister's very artistic, and we're going through a book looking at pop art stuff at the same unbeknown to me, I have the same points, it appears in my head, and that's it. And then ran with the for then pop art theme of the designs and so on and so forth. So that's sort of how I got to the point of deciding I'm starting a fashion brand, deciding what sort of designs I'm going to create with the fashion brand, and then just had to try and figure out the rest from there, really. So that was the start of it all.
So tell people about that meeting. How far were you in when you've had that? What did you see? You see one of our videos, or?
I followed you for a couple of years from the other business I mentioned, the gear giveaway. My gear giveaway has followed your page for a good few years since then. So you've always been on the radar, and I've followed you on my personal page, etc. So the thing that I've always admired and thought the positive vibes you put out it's just cool. I've enjoyed it. But you did some social media marketing and asking about, I can't remember the exact advert, but it was enough for me, pique my interest and go, yeah, I'll sign up to that. Yeah. And then I get a phone call from Betty, which I thought she was the third phone call I'd had from a certain hotel chain trying to get me to rebook, because I booked there 2 years ago. I had a good bit of banter with her and just sort of clicked. I thought, this is cool, we'll do it. So
what did you get out of that meeting? What was it, Drew, that sort of really like switched in your perspective?
So we had that chat, and you're trying to dig into me of like, what's it all about? And it's like, well, I want to provide more for my daughter, etc. And I've got my pop art designs and so on and so forth. It's like, but now, what's it about, man? What's it about? And it was a bit of soul search. It was quite an emotional hour, really.
Yeah, it was
for both of us.
Yeah,
getting goosebumps thinking about that now, which is good. And yeah, you just kind of joined the dots for me, man. So it wasn't necessarily about the pop art designs. It's about the bright, vibrant colours and how vibrant colours can lift and join and bring joy to people's faces and lives and so on and so forth. So that's now the angle for Droodle, is we are a vibrant, colourful fashion brand, basically, that lifts people's spirits and vibrations through colourful design and colourful, as you can see, I'm wearing a very bright hot pink vibrant top today, which it causes, I've seen it because I wear this, you know, ask me would I have been wearing a fucking bright pink top with a dinosaur on it 12 months ago when I work in the heavy metal world where everything's black? No fucking way. Am I getting shit from my mates from it? Absolutely. Do I care? No. But I'm doing it, and just seeing people's reactions to wearing something like this. You get smiles. Kids, I walked in to drop my daughter at gymnastics the other day, and there were 2 kids there waiting to go in, and one of them looked and smiled and tapped her little brother and goes, "Look at that." 2 kids, like,
amazing,
it makes people smile just by wearing something bright and vibrant, and we all need more bright vibrancy in our lives, because it's just dark at the minute, man. It's dark out there, so I'm just trying to add a little bit of something for people, really. So that's, I've gone off on a tangent there.
It's perfect, mate. The have you really sort of tapped into more into your spiritual side since doing this brand now? Obviously, it was there and it'd been shown to you. Have you?
I'll be honest. The last few weeks, months, it's been tough, just because I've had a lot on. Obviously I work full time and I have my daughter every weekend, and I'm trying to do this as well. And the change of the season from summer into autumn / winter, I just struggle with the lack of, I just find it fucking depressing this time of year. So the last couple of months has been more difficult to keep the vibration up, but I've got to change that, because if I'm portraying my brand and myself as somebody that is believing it and portraying it, I've got to live it and feel it. So yeah, really need a concentrated effort to bring that back in line. But this is, you know, this is the same for everybody. Life's peaks and troughs, man. We all go through our challenges. Sometimes it's great. You know it's going to get shit. You just got to deal with the shit bits and get back up quick as you can. So I definitely felt like at the minute it's a little bit in the bottom of the dip, but on the way back up. So, and that's why I just want to give people more colours to look at and vibrant designs to see, and lift people's spirits, lift my own spirits, because it's not easy being happy every day.
Yeah. Whatever that happiness
Whatever
is.
that is, but yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think you need to do to get back up that dip? What would it take? What is it going to shift in you to do that?
It's tricky, isn't it? It's basic stuff. Eat well.
Yeah.
Exercise.
Yeah.
You know, I always try and be a happy face for people that, you know, people can like. But when you putting your socials out and you've got to be the happy face, the happy vibe, and it's and you wake up and it's like, fucking feel shit. How can you do that? I don't want to look like a fraud. So it's just the base, mate. Eat well, exercise, get out there, breathe fresh air, spend time with people you love. And I get a lot of my joy from my daughter, man. She is the light of my life. So
what's your go-to for lifting your spirits? Did you go to listen to podcasts? What's your go-to to get that?
I went through a period of doing all the right things. Meditating, exercising, walking, eating well, and it slipped a bit. So it's just a case of just doing all the things that I was doing. Yeah. But it's a lot easier to be miserable than it is to be happy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Playing the victim.
Yeah. Woe is me. Oh, it's hard. Fucking hell, it's hard. How am I going to do this? And it's just a case of, you know, we all face these challenges in life where it's easy to be miserable. It's not as easy to pull your socks up and get on with it. And ultimately, that's what it's got to be. It's hard work.
I think it's like, what you're saying, if you can get yourself into the meditative, I'm not going to use the word meditative, if you can get yourself into that state of receiving, things happen for you.
It's a vibrational thing.
Yeah.
And that, going back to the start of the year, you could feel, and I went to Paul Klomp, my business partner, he's like, I'm vibrating on a high level and we need to fucking capitalise it. He's like, what the fuck are you on about? He's like, well, I'm feeling the vibes. This is what we're doing. It feels right, and that's what we're doing. So it's just a case of, getting the vibes back. But it's easier said than done at times.
Yeah, it is. But like you said, you just got to go back to basics, haven't you? It usually starts with that morning, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just getting up, a bit meditative, exercise, eating well, and just start your day off right. You can get back to them basics.
That's it. Yeah, I'll stop the meditating, but the exercise. I've been ill for the last couple of weeks. Everyone's had this lurgy, so that's been a challenge. But as soon as my routine was get straight out of bed, have a wee, and then do like 40 press-ups, sit-ups, plank for a bit, then do some breath work, that stuff, and that just sets you off on the right path for the day.
What products have you got coming out? What's in store for Droodle?
I have got, and I don't know, I've kind of got the designs done. I want to do vibrant, colourful animal prints. I've kind of got the designs. I'm just questioning myself of how I put those designs on the garments. Whether I do a big chunk of animal print, because I'm limited by the space I have to work with. And I've been sort of, do I go with a rectangle? Do I put it on the back? So it's animal print designs. It's leopard, it's zebra, and it's giraffe. The prints are done. I've done them. I'm happy with them. I've showed them to people. They say they're cool. It's just how I put them on the garments.
What's your gut telling you to do?
Well, I was going with the big print, and I've shown it to some people, and they laughed at it and didn't like it. So I'm now questioning myself again, and then I've gone back and revisited it as a rectangle on the front. So that I'm thinking maybe a rectangle on the front.
What, because of what someone else has said?
Yeah, it's not the right way, is it? No,
it's not the right way. That.
No. And the other thing,
you'll end up doing nothing.
Hey?
You end up doing nothing.
Yeah.
If you get other people's opinions, it's
true. You just need to get on with it and do it. So yeah, vibrant animal prints, and then the other thing is, what colours go with the prints that I've got, because they're animal prints, but they're not traditional coloured animal prints. They're very Droodle, very vibrant, very colourful.
Yeah.
And then what colours do I match that with so it doesn't look wrong? And that's where I'm at. I want to get these out. I'm putting it down now in this podcast. I want them out in the next 2 weeks, which is doable.
Yeah.
Just requires a bit of dedication, but it can be done.
Can you not actually put it to your audience and just ask them as a?
I could do.
It'd make nice
it
content.
Make good content. Yeah. Could totally do that.
From a TikTok point of view, are you on TikTok? You're on TikTok as well?
I'm more Insta than TikTok. TikTok's there, and I do cross-pollinate some content from Instagram to TikTok. Being honest, I despise TikTok. It's soul-destroying. It literally sucks the souls out your eyes. But I know there's an audience, and it's there for a reason.
It's massive.
I've just never capitalised on that. It's all been Instagram. We've just got over 1,000 followers now on Instagram. All organic as well. There's no paid ads or anything yet. That's just all organic content, engagement, etc., which was a bit of a milestone.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What, more than Insta?
You just got to be doing so much content. It's ridiculous. 3 to 6 times a day. I know.
I've got a job. This is the challenge, man.
I know.
Got a job.
I know.
Need the job.
At least once a day.
Yeah.
You should be putting it out. But,
right.
Just try and... Did you see the post I put out about doing the ChatGPT prompt?
I use ChatGPT.
Right. Did you see the one that I did about putting on the axis and then your fears and what's it? Try that out, mate. It give you 30 pieces of content. Right. Some of them take about 5 seconds.
Right.
Right.
I did screen grab it so I can go back to it over the
Screen
weekend.
grab it, mate. Paste it, put it in, tweak it a little bit. You know, give me some hashtags as well. Give me some, and it'll give you 30 pieces of content. Honestly, some of them take about 5 seconds to do. You just got to be putting content out.
Right.
The algorithm's just picking you up. TikTok especially, put once a day on it. Just your numbers just go just compound because you're posting regularly.
Yeah. I did do that. It just wasn't. I don't know. It's the compound effect, isn't it? You've just got to keep.
You got to keep, mate. You got to keep pounding away, compounding away. I think the spiritual side of you is really interesting, mate, and your outlook on it, because you deliver it not woo-woo at all. You come at it like a total lad's point of view, which I really, really like.
Yeah, I'm not too
really
woo-woo.
like.
Although some of the stuff I say to my mates, they say I'm a fucking hippie, but...
It probably does to them, like, because they've not done it, but, like, the way you break it down is really nice. When you started talking to me on Zoom and stuff, I was like, oh, it's really nice when you're looking at it, mate.
Yeah.
Really nice. Because you've not been involved in that circle at all.
No. Not
And
at
then
all.
you come into it from a...
I've always sort of been intrigued by the alternative, be that alternative media, alternative thought, etc. But it's really only, as I say, this year. It was started tail end of last year, 23 into January, and then that was I was meditating, and after that podcast, specifically after that podcast, just really dipping into the meditation and through that, and seeing, interesting that even at the early stages of those meditations, seeing the colours that you see while meditating, but not necessarily joining that, whether that's scent or a sign, I don't know. But yeah, the colours that you do see, I do remember one particular time of just doing it and then move my head and seeing bright, vibrant reds, and then as I put my head down, going into like vibrant blues. It's just a random meditative memory.
Which is beautiful, mate, which is literally what you're doing now, aren't you? You
Yeah.
just never really connected them.
No,
dots.
no, and going back to our meeting a few weeks ago, that was literally the joining of the dots of the colours, and that's what we're about, and higher vibrations and so on and so forth. So now I'm trying to, again, it's all time based, but trying to learn about how colours affect the psyche and what it means and so on and so forth, and through the stuff we're doing on social media, I've linked up with some content, not necessarily content creators, but people that I have linked up with content creators, but more specific colour-based people. There's a lady called Gabby who I've worked with recently, who is a colour psychologist, colour therapist.
Amazing.
She worked with Ralph Lauren for a long time, and her main job was the psychology of the colour for their like the stands at shows and stuff. And just speaking to her, we had a good hour chat and just understanding. I got more of an understanding about how colours affect and so on and so forth, and we're talking about doing a live cast on Instagram and trying to get more insight into what the colours mean and stuff like that, basically.
That's really cool, mate, isn't it? That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's where you need to be at, creating content like that. You've got all the ideas. It's just how to pull it into your brand for it to...
Yeah, that's the challenge, and then translate.
What about sort of like Reiki practitioners as well, and you know, going through the colours of the chakras and what all that means and stuff?
I haven't gone through Reiki practitioners, although that takes me back to a memory.
Go on.
So my sister was in a car crash a long time ago. 2001, so long ago. Catastrophic head injury, written off, died 3 times that night.
Wow.
In a coma for a long time. The girlfriend I had at the time was... This all sounds fucking mental. She was in touch with the other side, shall we say, but her mum was also a Reiki practitioner. So I won't go into all that mad stuff with the girlfriend, but ultimately my sister was written off by my mum and dad named the doctor Dr. Death, because he said she's never waking up, so you need to just get used to this now because she'll never wake up. And the girlfriend's mum at the time was into sort of Reiki, and she did do some Reiki stuff on my sister, and I can't directly correlate what she did to my sister ultimately waking up, but there was responses to what happened when she did that.
So was she in the room with her, was she?
Yeah. Doing the rubbing of the hands, and I don't fully understand it. But yeah, she was doing all that sort of stuff, and so taking it back to that. So I do believe that, not that I've tapped into it myself, but I believe it can have a positive effect through that. I think there are...
Are you scared of tapping into it fully?
I've just not really thought about the Reiki thing at all, man, until you mentioned it then, and it took me back to that thought of sat in that room all those years ago. My fingers going now, because it's invoking something, a dark time. She did pull through the coma. She is with us. She is an artist. She does have ongoing challenges. She does need help on a daily basis and has carers that are with her. But she lives a pretty active life. She's going on holiday. Was it today? Tomorrow? So yeah, she did pull through that. She's not the same Heidi she was pre-accident. Never will be. All brain injuries are different. Sorry, I'm going down a different
It's nice, mate.
line of thought there, but so yeah.
Do you not talk about that much? What happened?
Sometimes I do. Yeah. Whether I've fully addressed it properly or not, I probably haven't. In reality.
Yeah.
That was a life-changing, more so for her than me. But
still for you as well, mate.
Still you carry it. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Our whole family's carried that one for a long time. 23 years? 4 years?
Yeah.
It's that long ago.
A long time carry that, mate.
Yeah. So...
You definitely need to... There's something, I feel, that's being shown to you, but you're not allowing it to be shown. I do feel you need to do some Reiki. I think you're doing bits of meditation, but I feel like
I haven't fully. I haven't done enough. I've danced around it. I've not fully embraced it.
Yeah, fucking everything will change for you if you do that. You know.
Yeah.
It's in you. I can just tell the way you talk and the way you are. You're literally like round the edge of it, and not just gone like that. Yeah. I don't know if you're scared of becoming woo-woo or you're becoming...
No, well, I've become more woo-woo than I've ever been this year, and that's certain friends have noticed it and said it, but
yeah.
I'm not too... I've got thick skin. I'm ginger, so we come with thick skin. Or, sorry, the thick skin develops throughout our lifetime. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know where to start with Reiki as a thing. But there's so many things, where do you go, man?
But you just like what I'm trying to do is attach the dots again for you and figure out the colours, art, images, messaging. It just comes back to Reiki, mate. You lie there and find yourself a Reiki practitioner, and they'll connect the dots for you. You'll be shown colours and stuff within that Reiki practice. And then see what happens.
I need to research that.
Because I don't know why I'm saying that you might become a master Reiki yourself. I don't know, Drew. I just think you are really connected, mate, from when I talk to you.
Right.
I just think you have danced around the edge, but colours are showing you the way. And that's all it is colours and frequency and vibrations. You're already seeing it, but you'll just be ready for it at a time, I think. Yeah. And you'll just go, boom. You'll do a Reiki session, you go, I could do this, and you become a Reiki practitioner. Fucking all those images will go fucking mental if you do that.
I need to understand more about what Reiki is and does. There's elements of things that we spoke about. We did speak about that other lady whose podcast I listened to. I did ring her, actually. She didn't get back to me. But in hindsight, because I'm probably not ready. Yeah. Based on this conversation. Yeah, and I knew. Yeah. I was then. But I've drifted.
The time will come, mate. You are ready. The time will come. Things are just align right for you. Yeah. You know, that's all I think Reiki is. The chakras, aligning them. You know, I'm very good here. Getting better there, but me sort of base chakras are quite dense. There's a lot of stuff that I need to deal with.
I am embracing some of the chakra colours though. So, and
it's all there.
Interestingly, learning about blue, I always wear blue.
Yeah.
And looking into what blue is. Blue's mainly communication.
Yeah,
I'm quite good at speaking to people.
Throat chakra.
And talking to people. Quite
yeah.
eloquent. I'm not written words, but eloquent talking to people, and it's kind of. I always wear blue and
you'll love it, mate, once you get into it, you know. You really will love it. The brand will really open up if you open up to that.
I need to get in that. Yeah.
I fucking already know, mate. Honestly, I already know. That's the way for you. Colours.
It's all about the colours, yes.
Where can people find you if they want to get one of these? So
you want to check us out? Instagram, just search Droodle, but it's _Droodle_. And the website is droodle.co.uk. If you Google Droodle, you will find us. So through a bit of our SEO, we've managed to get to the top of Droodle, but there aren't too many Droodles out there, so it wasn't too hard to get to the top on that.
The girl you used to be with. She had powers. Claire's. What could she see?
Oh, I'll tell you fucking mental stories.
Go on.
Bizarre mental stories. So
how long were you with her for?
A year, maybe a year. Before my sister's accident and post. I lost the plot a bit then.
Yeah.
Understandably. But yeah, it was quite mad. So there's a pub where I live. Oh, it's not there anymore. It's gone. It's turned into a very nice house now called the Nelson. We went for a drink in the Nelson, and she started getting really uncomfortable. She's like, I've got to get out of it. I was like, what are you on about?
Did you know at the time when she said this is the first time that you experienced?
I can't. I mean, this is 20 over 20 years ago now, so I can't remember the exact. But this was there were several standout moments of me understanding her connection to the other side.
Yeah, go on.
And she's like, I've got to get out. I was like, what are you on about? There's too many people in here. I was like, there's me, you, the bar person. What? She's like, no, you don't understand. There's too many souls in here. I've got to get out. It's like, okay, bit strange, odd. The weirdest. God, this is publicly talking about this stuff is a random one, but so I had a friend that took his life. Like he was 15, 16, somewhere I used to live before I lived where I live now in Cirencester. I used to live in the near Peterborough, a place called Crowland. A lad called Carl. Part of the reason I kind of wanted to play guitar because he played guitar before I did, and I remember going to 1993, going pre-Christmas shopping with him and his dad to get his first guitar or look for his first guitar, and that's when I first heard the name Les Paul or Stratocaster. Wasn't even on my radar at that point. Anyway, fast forward a few years, he took his life once I'd moved away. So fast forward into the point I was with this girl, Jane. This sounds nuts, mate. It really does sound fucking mental. We were driving to Cheltenham or something. She's like, he's in the back of the car. I'm like, what?
Does she know about the guy? Have you told her about it?
I don't think I had.
Right, okay.
I don't think I had. She's like, there's a guy that's with you, and he knows you, and he's trying to send you a message. I'm 19. Start freaking like, what are you on about? This is nuts. But apparently he kept coming to see her. Like he had a message for her.
To give to you.
To give to me.
Mm.
And she and her mum went to see a spiritualist, a clairvoyant, I don't know, to try and get the message. And I ended up getting a letter, basically. I can't remember the exact... There was something about a bag in there and some keys, something like that. It was all a bit weird. I think that the dots joined later on, post my sister's accident, but it was something... It was like a warning or something. Ultimately, we split up because 19, I was like, oh, this is nuts. I can't be doing with this. But interestingly, when she was born, she was a twin. The twin didn't survive, so it's almost like there was some sort of connection there between her and the other side. If the other side is a thing, the universe, a different dimension, who knows, man. And
you've had this in your life for a long time, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Haven't you?
Yeah.
You just keep pushing it away.
Yeah.
Did you fire off because it was getting too freaky for you?
There was sort of another girl, and
right.
Yeah, but that never happened.
Yeah.
But maybe that was part of it. It was 19. You don't want to be dealing with dead people. Sat in your car that you can't see, she can see, sending you messages from beyond the fucking grave. Bit nuts. Now I'd be far more receptive to that conversation, but at 19 or 20, whatever I was, it was too much. But anyway, the thing about the bag and the keys, post my sister's accident, I had to go to the police station and collect my sister's bag, which had her keys in it. I don't know if that was the message or not. That's the closest connection I could get to that message and what happened at the end of it. So that was and she had a pack of 10 Benson and Hedges in there that I took out, so my mum didn't see it, so she didn't know she'd been smoking. Hopefully my mum doesn't watch this. So yeah, man. So yeah, maybe there's a long-standing connection to some other mad shit out there that I need to tap into further.
Maybe there is, mate. Maybe they've been showing you to connect these dots. You're getting a lot of like dot connections, aren't you?
Yeah,
it's like how many have you pushed away already that you were like you've not been open to receiving?
Too many.
Yeah, I bet I can just tell the way, like I said, come back to that Zoom conversation, just like, oh my God, this guy is so fucking open, he doesn't even know what's been fucking shown to him.
Yeah.
It's like, mate, honestly, I'm not joking, the T-Rex you've got in the thing, it's just fucking...
Well, it's interesting.
Just frequency colours, man.
Fucking T-Rex. I walked in, the first thing I see is T-Rex.
Mate.
I got a T-Rex on. And then the other thing I keep seeing as well, and you might know more about this, we touched on this in our meeting, is the numbers, seeing the numbers. And the minute you walked in, I looked at the screen, and it was 11:11. Now I've sort of, when I keep seeing these, I keep looking at these spiritual angel numbers or the synchronicity and all that. I want to know more about...
What you need to stop doing is you need to stop saying this is nuts.
Yeah.
Right.
Just embrace it.
And just embrace it.
Yeah.
You're right, but you're gonna get shown more if you keep saying this is nuts.
Yeah.
And just let it be, mate. Let it, trust the process, and be shown what's shown to you, and go, find somebody who's into Reiki. Someone will find you now, and just tap into that side of you a lot more and step into it. Yeah, don't dance around the edges with it. And by you being more, fucking hellfire, mate. Your business will go like that. Your brand will go like that. You'll get so many like collaborations.
There was an element of that early on, but as I've maybe pushed things away, not pushed things away, just life, man. It's like so I'll work. Yeah,
I'm trying to sort of like I've got my next plant medicine experience with Sandra, the 20th. Like fucking shitting myself. Like, because I know my chakra's not aligned. I feel like once you've aligned these 7 chakras that you've got, you get more downloads. But if one of them's out of kilter,
you're not getting it.
It's just not receiving. Like you said, if you're meditating, you're eating well, you're doing exercises, just aligns, and
you can feel
you're
it.
in tune more with it.
Not that I understand the Reiki thing, but you can certainly, at points this year, I felt it. It's like you feel fucking take on the world.
Yeah,
and
mine's always been the heart, and the heart is green, and opening up that chakra because of what's happened when I'm little. Like my heart's been so closed off, and not allowing people to come into my life and stuff, helping that open up. Fucking, I've had so many more business connections by just kind of, you know, being all right and kind of going, no, that person's just a businessman, and, you know, allowing that person to come in and stuff. It's incredible when you do that work. The gym and stuff's all right, but...
The what stuff?
You know, going gym and, like, breath work and cold water, but it's not the work. It's not the work. You got to sit there in silence, man, and feel every fucking ounce of pain. You know, I was saying to you about, you know, LB, my dog and stuff, and just sitting there. You got to feel that shit, man. You got to sit in it. You know, before I go to gym, take my mind off it, or come to work, let me take my mind off it again. Let's fucking suppress it.
Deal with it.
Not anymore, man.
Yeah.
Not doing that anymore. Beautiful. It is beautiful work. I'm really excited, mate, about what's going to happen, you know. I'm not lying. I know. I'm not lying.
Yeah. Well,
it's going to be superb. It's going to be superb. But I honestly do feel that you need to say that this is nuts. This is going to sound like nuts. It's going to sound bonkers. This is going to sound what's it. Stop saying that.
Yeah.
Because it's not. It's just.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Deal with it.
Yeah. Language is so important. What you tell yourself and what you tell other people.
Yeah.
In it. And if you're saying this is nuts, then you're making it nuts. And it's not.
Yeah. I've been. It's fucking peaks. Whole life's peaks and troughs, isn't it? It's like you go through the vibrational levels of feeling cool and groovy. And I did a festival with a day job, and I was saying I'm sort of tapping into this spiritual shit, and the people I was with were quite like, stop saying it's shit or it's mad, or just go with it. And it's like just need to do that. So
hard, isn't it? Really hard. Because it's like by saying it, you're not accepting it.
Yeah. And
it's being shown. Like I said, like how scared, I think you're quite scared inside of what's going to be shown to you potentially. Maybe the stuff that you need to deal with before you can go on that. That you in fact, you already know that.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah.
And that's what's going to be shown up like. I got a bit of a fucking thing then when I thought about it for you. Like, but wow, on the other side of that, mate, the beautifulness, colours, the vibration, wow. Yeah. I had a beautiful conversation with you on the Zoom, mate, honestly. Beautiful.
It was...
and for me to feel so safe that I could cry in front of you, you know, I just thought, and then I just thought, nah, I'm all right here, Drew. I'm all right with Drew. And I just thought, right, fuck it, here we go, Drew. I'm crying, mate. You pay for this meeting, but you can watch me cry.
Normally I have to pay a lot more for that.
Beautiful,
but, no, it was again, it's the connections, it's the right place, the right time. It was just it was an enlightening hour, or I don't know how long, hour-ish, but yeah, it was. I got goosebumps and you cried, and it was fucking
great, mate.
And I walked away from that like vibrating on a higher level, and went straight to my business partner and said, look, we need to pull our socks up and get on with it, and I need him to, you know, that's the other side of it. You know, there's two sides to Droodle. I am the Drew in Droodle. He's the sort of back end techie side of it, and he needs to raise his vibrations as well. He's having some daily challenges. Yeah, it's not my place to necessarily talk about that, but yeah, it's an equal partnership. Yeah. Which requires equal effort.
I think there's a lot to be said about not going trying fixing people, but raising your vibration so they raise theirs, isn't there? It's all right if you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to get, you know, meditate. Listen to this fucking podcast. I don't listen to a fucking podcast. Another person sends me, watch his podcast. Go off. You know what I mean? It's just like, look, you do your work, raise your vibrations. Let me look at you raise your vibrations, and I'll come and match yours. Because you inspired me to do so. Yeah. That's what needs to be done. Yeah. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
Tim Marner, what? You're running with the best. Tim Marner.